Hey, it's Jennifer. In this video, I want to talk about Lewy body dementia. It's second in line to Alzheimer's as the most common type of progressive dementia. I bet if I asked those of you who have heard of the term Lewy body dementia to raise their hand, there wouldn't be very many hands. Yet Lewy body dementia is actually quite common. So it's important that you as a caregiver learn more about it so that you can help to advocate for your loved one and be more helpful when it comes to talking with their doctor. So let's start with what Lewy body dementia is. A Lewy body is a clump of protein called alpha-synuclein, and doctors still have no idea why they develop. Their effect is going to depend on where they form in the brain. Lewy body dementia symptoms are a bit different from other types of dementia. So with this, you're going to notice visual hallucinations, sleep disturbances, and difficulty carrying out mental tasks as the big players, while memory, at least earlier on, tends to be less affected. Movement difficulties are also a hallmark symptom of Lewy body dementia, and that's going to include things like muscle rigidity, tremors, and a shuffling gait. And these really start picking up as the disease progresses. Now, right away, you may be thinking, all of these problems sound more like a Parkinson's disease diagnosis, which is why a person with Lewy body dementia will usually receive a diagnosis of Parkinson's first. But as time goes on, doctors are usually able to distinguish Lewy body from Parkinson's by asking this simple question: which set of symptoms appeared first, the body or the brain? If it's Lewy body, it's the brain. So let's take a closer look into some of the most common symptoms of Lewy body dementia. And we'll start with rigidity. So one of the most common behaviors that you're going to see with this type of dementia is moments of rigidity that's going to cause a person to do almost the complete opposite of what you're trying to help them do. So for instance, if you're trying to help them brush their teeth or stand up from a chair from the toilet, if you're trying to help them eat, you're going to notice that as you're trying to help guide them or pull them up, they either start pushing themselves back like this, or if you're guiding with your hand to try to help their hand, they're pushing back with their hand, almost like they're being defiant. So as a caregiver, if you were telling your loved one to do something over and over and they just aren't doing it, give it up. Because with Lewy body dementia, when you start breaking down directions and telling your loved one how to do something, they have to use their cortex. And when they use their cortex, that's when the Lewy body suddenly jams them up. So instead, you have to back up and try using patterns that are more automatic to them. So you want to start by relaxing your body, and instead of giving them directions, try getting them to do something along with you. So like if you're trying to help them eat, sit next to them and eat something too. So maybe saying something like, "Oh man, this is so good," as you're bringing the food to your mouth, and maybe even explaining what it is that you're doing. Basically like mimicking the actions you want them to do. And for whatever reason, this can help break them free of that rigidity, and you'll find that they probably can do the task without your assistance at all. The next big symptom is visual hallucinations. And these are going to involve three things: animals, children, and people. So these hallucinations will usually be worse in the evening and at night. Not to say that they can't or won't also happen during the day, they're just not usually as present. And sadly, most of their hallucinations are going to have a frightening edge to them, so your loved one becomes fearful. And when this happens, please do not argue with them. That's only going to make them angry and mad at you, because what they are seeing or experiencing in that moment is incredibly real. What you can do is repeat their fears and let them know that what they are seeing must be very scary, and help any way that you can. Also let them know that you are there, and if possible, try to redirect them to something else that isn't bothering them so much. Then you have the sleep issues. People with Lewy body dementia will usually wake up 4 or 5 times or more each night, and they're going to have a lot of trouble getting into deep sleep. And this tends to make their hallucinations worse, and a lot of people are going to begin acting out their dreams and talking in their sleep. So I have a patient that I'm working with that wakes up a lot during the night. Again, she experiences swings where sometimes the hallucinations are really bad and others she doesn't have. But she'll talk to me and tell me that she'll wake up sometimes in the middle of one of her dreams. Just the other day, she was seeing her husband outside of her window, and she woke up finding herself banging against that window, trying to let him in. So it can be a variety of things that they're seeing, but it's often fearful. So because they have this going on and because they're not getting a lot of sleep or falling into deep sleep, you're going to notice changes in a person's memory and mood. One of the best ways to help a loved one with sleep disturbances is to make sure they have a consistent sleep schedule. So make sure that they go to bed and make sure that they wake up at that same time every single day. Another thing to do is to make sure they get lots of exposure to natural light. So take them outside, because spending time in the sun is going to boost their levels of vitamin D, which can help with sleep. Exercise, if they're willing, will also make a big difference. Lastly are the fluctuations in cognition. So it really is still unclear why people with Lewy body dementia have such variations in their attention and alertness, but it is a major part of the disease. Most of the time, people will have episodes where they appear blank or unresponsive, even though they appear to be completely awake. And this can last anywhere from a few seconds to a few hours. You will also notice big swings in them knowing what's going on and being really confused, particularly in their ability to solve problems or make decisions. If this sounds like your loved one, then give them time and give them space. This isn't a time to change up their routine or try teaching them something new. Just understand that there's going to be good days and bad days, or good moments and bad moments, and just adjust with them. So now that you know about the main symptoms associated with Lewy body dementia, I want to point out one more thing. In our society, medications are usually a doctor's first choice of action for helping patients improve or to help them reduce their symptoms. But Lewy body dementia is the most risky to start throwing medications at. Since the symptoms of the disease turn on and off, a lot of medications doctors might think to use to manage one part of what happens can actually make another part much worse. Lots of time people with Lewy body dementia are going to have a hypersensitivity to meds. So like you might notice that they always have these odd reactions when new medications are added. And that pattern is actually a warning sign. So for instance, antipsychotics that can help with anxiety or depression, and even antibiotics are known to cause these unusual reactions when Lewy bodies are present. So just be aware and pay attention when medications are prescribed. Okay, caregivers, I know I just threw a ton of information your way, but understanding the symptoms of Lewy body dementia is so important in making sure that your loved one gets the right kind of care. You have to be a strong advocate for them since this disease is so often misdiagnosed. If you haven't seen my video on vascular dementia, check it out here. And be sure to ask any questions you may have in the comments down below. Also, if you found this video helpful, give it a quick thumbs up. And the little bell will let you know when more of my videos are available. Thanks for watching. I'll be back again soon to help you continue cracking the code.